Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Halloween special football show. It is indeed Thursday, and it can only be a day when we have Ruffy and Tam Cowan in the studio to talk about football. And there is one burning issue on this Halloween night. The axe has fallen. Yeah, the main talking point, the breaking news earlier this afternoon, is that Craig Levein has been relieved of his managerial duties. He will not stay on as Director of Football, but he will remain in some capacity in the background at Hearts until the end of his contract, which is up in the summer. So, immediate reaction, Ruffy, Craig Levein sacked.
Yeah, I personally didn't see that coming before a massive game at the weekend. I thought they would have just given him one last chance to turn everything round with what he's done at the club. But Anne Budge again hasn't messed about. It's part and parcel of her reign there at Hearts. If she's seen something that isn't working, then she fixes it, and she's done it very quickly again. Yeah,
absolutely. I think I had a conversation with her at the start of last season, and I asked her if Craig Levein was bomb-proof, and she emphatically said no, and she's true to her word, because a lot of Hearts fans were just not going to tolerate, first of all, him remaining as manager, but this secondary role, Tam, was just not on the agenda at all.
No, was that Anne texting you there, by the way?
Yeah,
we have
absolutely.
the pang, that's good, very professional. But no, listen, it has caught us on the hop, and even to the point, the graphic there that you had about Craig Levein getting sacked didn't have a hyphen in semi-final. That's how fresh this news was. It's caught Aberdeen a hop. We didn't have time to check the spelling, but I am surprised because of Craig's relationship with Anne Budge. I did think he was bomb-proof, no matter what Anne Budge said. And there's two ways of looking at it. With Anne Budge being the tremendous businesswoman that she is, you would have thought, right, she can't take any chances. She's got to get rid of this guy. But the flip side it is, she clearly knows what she's doing in business. Maybe she thought, you know what, this is all going to be fine. This is all going to come good. And again, you couldn't have a go at her if that was her perspective. I wonder if Craig has maybe even done the decent thing here and said to Anne, he's got a great relationship with her, and look, enough's enough. I'm being unfair to you here. I'm starting to put a lot of pressure on you. You're getting a lot of flack for the fans who actually should only worship you for everything that you did at the club. You know, flip side of that is meant to be a fan-owned club. You know, how long could they go on without the fans not having their say? And the fans clearly want Craig Levein to go. I'm not sure about this thing about him staying on a wee bit behind the scenes. Yeah. I think a clean break would have been the order of the day. If the Hearts fans are looking for a positive right just now, if they bring in the manager, Bookie's favourite right away is Jack Ross, we suppose. Bring him in before the semi-final on Sunday, because that old thing about a new manager, the bounce. If there's ever a time Hearts need a bounce, what a time to get a bounce going into a semi-final in a National Cup competition. So if I was the Hearts fans, they had protests recently outside Tynecastle about Craig Levein. I would get back out tonight with the torches and the pitchforks, why not on Halloween, and start demanding that the club bring a manager in before Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's the right decision to sack Craig Levein. I've watched Hearts on more than a few occasions. They've been poor to watch, and that's without Stephen Naismith in the side. He changes the dynamic, but one man can't make a team. I think it's the right call, and everybody will now look towards the future. Jack Ross, Stephen Robinson at Motherwell, John Robertson at Inverness will be in there with the candidates, but it's right that Craig Levein goes. It's now time for a new era at Tynecastle, and everybody will say, Ruffy, they've got to look now to someone who can galvanise that team, as Tam's just highlighted.
Yeah, not only galvanise the team, but galvanise the supporters as well. Because once the supporters lose faith, it just dwindles down onto the players on the park, and the performances go out the window. So collectively, all need to start pulling in the right direction. Tam's right. A manager before the weekend would do that. You know, as long as they're not rushed into whatever manager it's going to be, as long as it's the right guy and at the right time. And he is out of a job, Jack Ross. There's no any compensation. There's nothing. No baggage hanging about there. So of all the candidates just now, he would be the quickest.
And again, Peter, when you think about it from the Hearts fans' perspective, I got a text only this morning from a Hearts fan, Stevie Kilgour, who's involved with the foundation of Hearts. He was asking me about going to a fundraising event next February, and he, half as a joke, said it's doubling up as a relegation party, and it was only half a joke, because the bottom line is Hearts are joint bottom of that league. It is absolutely horrendous. And you know, Craig Levein, I've got a lot of time for Craig Levein, but he was nudging towards being remembered for something else other than the 4-6-0. That's how bad this period has been at Hearts. Not a home win since March. Everybody says at Tynecastle it's meant to be the fortress. No, it isn't, you know. It's been quite incredible. Something had to give, and it has happened today, but I would be pressuring the board now, if I was a Jambo, to get somebody in for Sunday. Loves the whole place.
Yeah, and the other thing about it, Ruffy, any chief executive worth their salt, any chairwoman, anybody who owns a club, once you start to see empty seats and people leaving in their thousands, the alarm bells have to ring.
Yeah, they do, and I mean, we've saw it on numerous occasions. Doesn't matter whether it's at Hearts, but most clubs, when the board start getting targeted by the fans, you know, it makes them make decisions, you know, quicker than what they usually do. This isn't that case, because as Tam said, no wins in March is just enough. But I think now she's beginning to listen to other people rather than just listening to Craig. You know, other people are giving her advice and what way she should go here. And I think she's made the right decision. I'm like yous. I don't know what his capacity is going to be. Is he going to be identifying a new guy coming in? Is he going to be assisting the new guy when he comes in at the end of the year?
It should have been a clean break.
Yeah,
it's got to be a clean break. What's the point? I mean, even for Craig himself, you know, the Hearts fans, as I said to you in the Facebook Live show, Peter, the chants last night for Craig Levein were of the gentle variety.
Yeah.
Like even Craig Levein, it's time to go. It wasn't that get to, you know, it wasn't all that stuff, you know, with swearies and everything, angry and all the rest of it. It's because the guy is a Hearts legend. No matter what happens now, he is a Hearts legend, you know. But I just think it should have been the clean break. You know, there might be some Hearts fans popping the champagne corks tonight, but that will just maybe make the bubbly go a wee bit flat to think that he's still there till the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think it would be hugely embarrassing for him to be actually still hovering around while a new manager comes in, Ruffy, because there's nothing he can say that is positive to offer any advice whatsoever, because he's caused the predicament Hearts are in. So if anything, if he is on the end of a phone and still getting paid, it will only be to say to Anne Budgewell, I've done this, I've done that, here's a structure, here's what somebody has to come in and do as a director of football. And right now, if you're looking at someone, I mean, there are two candidates out and out for me. I think it'll be tough to try and prize Stephen Robinson away from Motherwell. It would take some financial clout to get him out of there. Not a lot of money, but it still would take some money for him. But the other two, the Jack Ross CV hasn't been tarnished by a club like Sunderland, because Sunderland is a poison chalice. Better managers than Jack Ross couldn't revive that place with the board that they have. The other one is as I think John Robertson did a great job when he was there before. The only thing he suffered from was Vladimir Romanov.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's a difficult one for me, Peter. The three names we're talking about, it's because they're here. When you pick up the papers tomorrow, there'll be 50 applicants. There'll be 50 applicants, and some of the names will be high profile, because Hearts are a massive, massive club. It'll be really interesting to see who really wants to take this on, but I would think anybody that comes in will not want to take it on with Craig Levein hovering about in the background.
Yeah. Brendan Rodgers, he must be getting itchy feet now at Leicester. And he'll be back up in Scotland next to his beloved Celtic, who he supported ever since he was a fetus.
Well, I'm sure I'm so glad you've remembered them.
Did you get sucked into that nonsense as well? Were you one of the saps that bought that? Aye.
Unfortunately, and I'll be perfectly honest with you.
Played them like a fiddle. Played the fans like a fiddle.
Yeah.
See, now whenever I watch any player now kissing the jersey and all that, that should be the lesson.
To be fair, Brendan Rodgers wasn't the pioneer of playing clubs and fans like a fiddle.
No, not at all.
But I think, on the evidence of what Hearts have to do now, do they inherit, does the manager who's coming in inherit a good side, Ruffy?
Well, if we listen to Craig Levein, there's 8 players, first-team players out injured, and they're on their way back. They're not be long before they're all there. So the nucleus of a team is there. I still think they're a top 6 team with a top manager in charge with all these players back. So that's what the manager will have to do. He'll have to get them into the top 6.
You know what, Peter? I, probably like a lot of folk, was expecting Rangers to absolutely pump Hearts in the semi-final this weekend. Stranger things have happened in Scottish football, and if Hearts do get a new manager in, I reckon they'd be worth a wee fiver, okay? And I'm going to make a prediction that we'll be sitting here next week, and how many times this happened in Scottish football, we'll be sitting here next week and saying, why could the Hearts players not have done that for Craig Levein?
Yeah,
that's my prediction. The Hearts are going to win that semi now.
It's not going to be nothing each.
Well, no, there you go. I'm going to break that mask is off. I think I've seen this before. Next week, here's my prediction. Hearts are going to beat Rangers now, and we're going to sit here next week saying, how could the players not have done that for Levein?
Yeah.
Like so-called professionals. I've seen it so many times.
You could go nothing each and then penalties.
Oh, good shout.
Absolutely. Well, I'll be honest with you, Tom.
I didn't think you could say the word penalties without screaming.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done.
The job you guys are doing as pundits, and of course you've been fairly succinct in your opinion there on this one, but I beg to differ, and that's the joy of the programmes, because we can't always agree. I think Rangers will just wipe the floor with them. It's as simple as that, and I don't see a new manager coming in and making any difference because of the way things have panned out over the last 24 hours and the season as well. You only have to look at last night's results. As you can see from the Premiership, a full card on offer. Celtic defeated St Mirren by 2-0. Aberdeen got a narrow victory at Hamilton. Hibs looked as if they might have been looking for a new manager this morning had they not stormed back to get a draw against Livingston. Motherwell 2-1 winners over Kilmarnock. Rangers emphatic up at Dingwall with 4 goals. And then the goal that finally actually caused Hearts to act and sack Craig Levein was St Johnstone's win. And St Johnstone, 2 wins in the season, and one of them against Hearts, I think was enough for Anne Budge to say, no, no more excuses, you've got to go. So you can give us your view on it right across our social media outlets. Is it the right thing to do? Certainly earlier on we were on Facebook Live and we were asking, is it time for Craig Levein to go? And generally the message was yes, but we didn't think she was going to sack him before the semi-final. She's done it. Will the new man galvanise the squad? Tam thinks yes, I think no. And again, only time will tell on this one. As far as the story of all the games, our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi sums it up.
Celtic's 2 wingers made the difference against the stubborn St Mirren. They stayed top of the league on goal difference. Aberdeen got back to winning ways with Ferguson firing them to victory against his former club Hamilton Academical. Hibernian came back from 2 goals down against Livingston to stay off the bottom and spare Heckingbottom's blushes. Motherwell inflicted Kilmarnock's first defeat since September to leapfrog them into 3rd. Rangers hammered Ross County 4-0 as Ryan Jack and Alfredo Morelos shared the goals. And St Johnstone are up to 8th after their 2nd straight win, whilst Hearts flounder in 11th.
Yep, there you have it, the story of the results last night. And of course, fresh from signing his new deal to take him to 2023, James Forrest chipped in with a goal. And then, it just started to, managers saying things that maybe not everybody buys into. As Tam alluded to earlier with Brendan Rodgers, Neil Lennon had a figure that he put as the value of James Forrest.
Goal-scoring winger. He's been doing it for 10 years, consistently. Treble Player of the Year, International Player of the Year. Started bidding at 25 million. 25 million,
Ruffy.
Well, he's just looking at the prices of other people. He's looking at obviously Kieran Tierney, 25 million. James Forrest is as influential as Kieran Tierney at Celtic. So they're basing these figures around that. No, I think James Forrest is staying at Celtic. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's a one-man club.
Great bit of business as well to get him.
Aye, an interesting point Ruffy makes. If that is the figure that Kieran Tierney left the club for to go to Arsenal, then if I had a choice this weekend, Motherwell against Livy, and I could either put Kieran Tierney in the Motherwell starting 11 or James Forrest, I would go for James Forrest. Yeah. So that's an interesting point. It's a 25 million, I know is daft. I wonder if a sneaky Neil Lennon had maybe had a wee whisper in his ear from James Forrest's agent saying, Neil, you go out and say he's worth 25 million because he's due to sign a new deal. It's been spoken about this week, anytime soon. And if his agent was doing his job, he would now say, hey, Peter Lawwell, right, I believe this is a 25 million rated player we've got here. Let's see some 25 million rated player wages get into his bank. How much extra you gain him? So I wonder if Neil's on a wee cut there.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I wouldn't suggest for a minute that he is on a cut, but nevertheless.
I know. That's the way the world goes round.
Well worth throwing a grenade in. Remember, the views of Tam on this are not necessarily ours.
When Ruffy talked to you about me before I joined here, I know for a fact he secured me an extra £3. So it does happen. It does happen.
And listen, the best thing to do when you actually sign a new deal is score a goal, and James Forrest was well happy with it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I was delighted to get it done earlier on, and then I've been just eager all day to get the game started, and obviously it was capped off a great day with obviously the 3 points and scoring as well.
Yep, so Celtic managed to see off St Mirren, and of course we did mention, actually, Tam, that Craig Levein might have been sacked, but Paul Heckingbottom was under some amount of pressure. All of social media last night when they were 2-0 down was he's going as well.
That's I thought that myself, and wow, what a situation that would have been heading into the national semi-finals of the Betfred Cup with two teams. The big Edinburgh teams having bumped their managers. I mean, one is sensational enough. I mean, it's maybe one for your viewers, Peter. I wonder, has a manager ever been sacked 3 days before taking his team into a National Cup final?
Yeah.
I would love to know the answer to that.
Well,
we're putting you in the spot, but maybe for one of the viewers.
You actually have to go back. You're probably talking 10, 20, 30 years in the top flight. I wonder if suddenly a new manager comes in. I know they've drafted in players for cup finals, but it's a great point, and undoubtedly.
What was the game that Rangers brought? Rangers brought Mark Hateley back almost for a game, didn't they?
Yeah, against Celtic. And in fact, Gordon Smith was brought back for a League Cup final.
Is that right?
From Brighton as well. Over and above that, of course, we're talking about Rangers there.
Was it too far to fly in a player to Argentina in 1978 who might have...
There was too many people flying out.
Exactly. That would have been brilliant, Tom.
Was Jim Blythe sitting in the house that summer?
I looked him in.
I think I look, Ruffy, at Rangers last night, and I've got to say, a positive word for Ryan Jack, because he's come on leaps and bounds. He's taken a bit of flack, but now, I mean, look at the goals last night.
Yeah, when your manager starts talking you up as if you're going to be the mainstay of the team for the next 3 or 4 years, they're prepared to give you another contract and everything's going well for you, that's the kind of response you're looking for. And you could see when he scored the goal, the first person he wanted to run over to was the manager.
Yeah.
So there's a bond there between them, and Steven Gerrard's very, very good at that, because he'll get the best out of that lad now because he knows that he's 100% behind him.
Yeah, good win for Aberdeen as well at Hamilton Accies. Derek McInnes just happy to take any win there after the last couple of weeks. He's been under a bit of pressure as well. And last but by no means least, Tam, 2-1 win for Motherwell, back up to third spot. Of course, with every team that he builds and gets them higher up the league, people start looking at Stephen Robinson, but he's here as Motherwell manager right now, and he deserves all the credit.
Well, I wonder if Motherwell supporters might end up ruining that result last night, because I think they will be sniffing about Stevie Robinson at Hearts. I think they'll be impressed with what he's done at Motherwell. They will know as well, let's call a spade a spade, they will know as well that he's known fortunes at Motherwell. And Motherwell, I'm guessing, wouldn't be hard to deal with. I really, really hope we keep him, of course. But as I say, looking back on the result last night, if we had lost to Kilmarnock, it would have been 3 defeats in the bounce. And the way Scottish football is, Peter, a lot of footmen thought, Stevie Robinson, 3 defeats in the trot. We'll no touch him. The Hearts fans wouldn't want us to get near him, blah, blah, blah. But we won last night. Wasn't a bad wee game. Thought Kelly were a bit unlucky. I didn't think, for me, it was a red card. I don't know if you've seen the instant, but it was almost like Bobby Moore when you could slide in with a tackle. I thought he got the ball cleanly, but we'll take it. Take a wee rub of the green, and we're sitting pretty in third place. But as I say, in terms of Stevie, Albert doesn't come back to bite us in the bum.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect words from Tam to finish it off for Motherwell fans. On a day when a lot of people were asking questions about the managers on both ends of the city in Edinburgh, but finally the axe has fallen on, of all days, Halloween. Craig Levein sacked because basically Anne Budge, the owner of Hearts, said enough was enough. He will leave the manager's role. He will leave the director of football role. You can give us your view on that across all our social media outlets, Twitter and Facebook Live, and our YouTube channel, to give us your thoughts on the sacking. And with every sacking, there has to be a new face. Who do you think will be the new Hearts manager? It's all about opinion. From Ruffy, from Tam and myself, Peter Martin. Thanks for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.